Yeah. Let's see. I'm just gonna reach down here. Tony, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Kumar.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
How? I think we talked before. That's right. You.
Actually, no, we haven't.
Oh, hey.
This is actually my first time.
Oh, hey.
I want to start off by telling you thank you for starting this community. It's really helpful. I really appreciate it. And before I go on, I want to let you know that my friend Chris, which you guys have spoken a few times, Chris H.
Yeah, yeah.
We're good friends, and he's the one who told me about your Discord.
And what's your take on it?
I love it. I love it because it's different. It's different than all the other ones. This is a real deal, I think. Especially when you want to invest and make some good money, especially over the long term. I think it's great. Chris and I have been doing option trading for the last few years together.
Yeah.
But now that I found this, I'm going to do less of that. I don't need to do as much because trading is hard. Trading is a hard game. It's a very hard game. It's a tough game.
We have a lot of option trader in our channel. It's like one of the most popular group is the option trading. Have you talked to some of the option trader here?
No, I haven't spoken to anybody, but I've been on your live maybe 2 or 3 times the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And I did hear of that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Oh yeah. If you come in not on the Sunday and Thursday live streaming, but on Monday, Tuesday, the other day that we don't stream. So in other words, we only broadcast ourselves. Like if I just talk about option trading, the guys would love to talk about option trading because that's what they like to do. But I keep telling them that option trading conversation is good, but it's a very boring subject. And
yes, it is. It is.
So
it's starting to get more boring for me now, especially that I found that these high yielders now.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been invested in dividend paying stocks over the years. For example, Pepsi, McDonald's.
Yeah.
NLY, but you cannot compare it to these high yielders now that I found, which again, I had found out this from my buddy Chris, which you spoke to.
Now, Chris is not here to defend himself. I don't know if you're the same person, but Chris mentioned that he has a friend who is stubborn. He used the word stubborn about high yield dividends. Like you want to go, are you that friend?
Oh no, he must be talking about somebody else. I'm nowhere near being stubborn. Nowhere near that. That's not me. Like I said, I've invested in dividend-paying stocks such as Pepsi, Coca-Cola, like I mentioned. Had it for many years. Yes, I made some money, but again, you're not going to compare it to these high yielders. I mean, this is like too good to be true. Sometimes I can't believe it. I mean,
well, it's like Al Capone Day. Yeah, this is like drug. Let me put it this way. In the history of humanity, there's only 3 or 4 professions where you get this kind of yield on your return on your investment. So one of them is prostitution. The other one is being a mercenary.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. Really narrow it down. That's what it really is.
Yeah. In the history of humanity.
I myself now own about, 2,500 shares of Tesla. Close to 500 shares of QQQY.
Okay.
I got 2 payouts already for Tesla.
Yeah.
And QQQY, I didn't get paid yet because I invested after
after the X stage. Yeah. When you received the payout from those high yield, what was did you get the adrenaline rush? You get that high?
You know what? Yeah.
We all did.
I got that high, and I got a higher high on the second payout of Tesla.
Yeah. Oh man, I think
from going to 700 a month to around 1,200.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, this is a pretty good game over here we got going. And as the time goes by, that number is going to get higher and higher. As it compounds.
And you've been listening to me here for the last 30 minutes. I've been talking about like different people. Now we start with a couple hundred. Now we're getting thousands. You know, like 10,000 now. We're talking about like, but they all start like you. You know, at one point back during the summer, we only had a couple thousand shares. You know.
Right. Yeah. Now listen, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure a lot of people that might even find out about these high yielders, they might have doubts. They might start thinking, wait a minute, you know, this is too good to be true.
Do you feel do you feel like you feel in some way kind of make you a little sad that you know, you're not a new guy, you're an experienced investor, but your brain just works for so long in one mode, so when something like this come along, you're like, how come I didn't know about this? You feel like you've been buffooned, you know, like you're not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like that. I'm like, why didn't I know this before? You know, I'm sure there's like so many different strategies to make incomes, but when your head is in one way, you're doing one thing all the time, it's hard to get out of that box.
Yeah.
Unless somebody brings it up to you, like my friend Chris did.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because now I'm in this game, a different game that is now, you know, and I'm going to mention Chris again. He does a lot of research, and that's what I like about the guy. He does a lot of research, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have known about these high yielders, you know. So yeah, and again, I'm happy to be in this community and listening, and you know, to everybody's ideas, and yeah, I think this is a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else was talking. I'm sorry. No,
that was me. We kind of sometimes there's lag, so we interrupt each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You know, just keep this thing going, Kamal. This is a great thing. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for me, I would have been very frustrated. Well, here's the thing. Here's the reality is, if you go to YouTube video and you type Tesla is a scam, for example.
Right.
There's tons of video. Well, except this one. This is kind of like his thumbnail. This is KC. For those who don't know, KC is very active on our Discord. He put this video. This video should have been like top hit. He explained about this, but there's people out there does not believe in Tesla. This one is my favorite one. You know, is Tesla a scam? And he, you know, 6 months ago he made this video. I'm curious to talk to him. If anybody talked to him, hey, does he feel that way now after Tesla out more than a year? Does he still feel that Tesla is a yield trap?
Right.
But and he called it a Ponzi scheme, and he said you're wasting your time. There's just a lot of hatred toward Tesla. This gentleman doesn't talk very lightly on us. And then of course when he got Jay on, he spoke very positive. There's just a lot of video on Tesla, the negative part of Tesla. And after
looking for clickbait.
I'm sorry, who's talking this?
They're just looking for clickbait.
Yeah, what I find out, what I kind of discovered was, I didn't realize when I I knew there was something wrong. For those who kind of new to the community, the logo here is a dragon, and this is the stock pillar, you know, with essentially what we always talk about is we're a bunch of warrior armed with shields and sword of the truth and knowledge, you know, and now we're gonna go fight dragons. Before you were fighting dragon naked. You don't have any armor, you don't have any sword or shield, you're just naked